Hey, Jamie,
Yeah,
I gotta be
I'm
honest
coming.
with you. Yeah, it's alright, I'm not going anywhere. This is a great studio. I just wanted to let you know, I'm really thankful. I think this is the one. I think we're gonna stick this one out. Look.
Excellent. I'm so glad.
During the break I got a little bit sad. Did you notice that?
I did. Why?
Because I realized that my biggest problem and my biggest love are the same thing.
Okay, what's that?
You want me to explain?
Yeah.
You see, I love movies.
Okay.
I'm not talking about human beings. I'm talking about my activity. I love movies. But movies create this air of legitimacy for certain jobs and people and things like that that is almost impossible to dispel.
Like what?
Like the movie The Dry. Now, in the movie The Dry, there are two things that are really frustrating to me, Daniel and Risis.
Okay.
One is very obvious, that 99% of people, when they hear the word federal agent, they think that the guy has got a gun, and they're trying to solve crimes and things like that. That's really frustrating to me. But you got a guy like Eric Banya that, even if he's like a financial crimes analyst or anything, he's got a sidearm. So like that's law enforcement. That's human beings that are on a task in order to get people that break the law. That's not what I do. That's where the problem really comes from. And the biggest issue, the most glaring issue, and the biggest issue that is really plaguing both of our worlds, where you are a victim of me being a victim, I don't know if that makes sense, but basically we live in this world that we believe that law enforcement is this altruistic, handsome Australian man
Right.
that is really like a do-gooder
True.
that's looking to risk his life to solve a crime
Totally.
because of like some sort of like an internal
Past trauma.
past trauma.
There's always
I mean,
a past trauma.
You hit the nail on the head on that
Always.
one. Wait till you watch the movie, you'll be like, wow.
There's always a past trauma.
And the past trauma and all that stuff,
You have to come to terms
it really is just like very annoying because I'm like, all right, well, I've been robbed of $30 to $40 million. I've lost over $100 million in potential income. Actual income, fuck it. Like it's actual income. I made a lot of money. Like that's what I do. I don't know. It's one of the reasons why I'm an asshole is because I've never relied on anyone. So,
It is one of the reasons.
when a human being has to rely on other people, they start to change their personality in order to conform to the needs of the other people. I've never had to do that.
It's true.
So,
It's a good point.
and it's just frustrating, it's just one of those things where I don't know what more needs to be done in order for me to really show the world that we live in a very selfish society that can flip in 2 seconds and care for other people. I do it by example, I do it by my words, I do it through everything you could humanly imagine. But what I don't do is I don't change my character in order to conform for what the audience wants. Because I am a real artist.
Sure.
I consider what I do far more important than actors that convey a message that is not their message. Eric Banya is a human being. The character that is created in that movie is absolutely fictional. There is no human being that does that. But in the minds of the American public, there is. And that is what their taxpayers are paying for. And that is where we are. We are in a society where I will break the fourth wall on YouTube with every single video by making the audience come into the real world, dispelling the notion of edited content that you see on YouTube, the endless 100 million content creators, 100 million channels, without a single one of them being able to break the fourth wall. As a matter of fact, we're raising an entire society of human beings that believe that's YouTube.
Totally.
And in reality, what you see is very dangerous.
Yeah, for sure. Interesting. Yeah. That's
very, very dangerous. Because when they see it, they believe it's real.
Yeah.
So the answer, that's YouTube, is just for you. In the mind of a child, that is reality.
Yeah.
It's a dual reality. There's the digital world, which exists online, and it's just as real, if not more real. You ever meet a little kid that keeps saying NPC?
Yes.
It's very dangerous.
It is. I agree with that, 100%.
It's very, very dangerous.
It's very dangerous.
no one really
Very
understands how dangerous it is if you turn that one world off.
Yeah.
So you should check out the show Severance. Anyways,
Great.
2 words. Innies, outies, whatever. What do I know? Right? So the reason for my frustration is that I shouldn't be doing this. This is so stupid.
I agree.
This is so fucking ridiculous that I have to have a whooping crop right here and stand up on YouTube and say,
I agree that it is, and I agree that it's frustrating, but I also think that you're doing something good from it, so.
did you update this?
I did.
It was $9.94 before?
Yeah.
And this is $9.95?
Yeah. Isn't that the next number?
I thought I said
Right.
$9.95 before. Yeah, no, I believe you. Listen, this is why you're the best in the business.
You're the best.
Well, the reason why I mentioned The Dry again is because in the movie The Dry,
Every time you say it.
my mouth is
Yes! Do you want? I can't even look at you say it again.
subliminal.
I was like, good lord, man.
The second one they should have called The Wet. So, no, seriously. You know, it's funny, I was telling my wife how Australian movies are like Indian movies, they're backwards. So in England, in America, it would, if there was a sequel, it would be Dry 2, Forces of Nature. In Australia, it's Forces of Nature, The Dry 2. It's just this weird thing.
backwards.
Yeah, it's just this back like toilets flush.
I was just gonna say.
Yeah, I was waiting for that. Frustration, discord, I don't even know what that word means, but it's really about how the reality is that the President of the United States has made it a clear point that the federal agenda
It has to be.
is really going to be to clean up. So I have very carefully selected 2 regions, which is the Lehigh Valley, which is 850,000 people, and Essex County, which also has approximately 850,000 people. I think one has 10,000 more,
I
one
looked
has
it up
10,000 less.
recently. Yeah, it's a little different than that.
I think it's like one. I mean, 885 and 875
I don't think
and
so.
845 or something like that. 825. I think right in the middle. I think the median mode. So the mean is the mean.
Lehigh Valley, 696,845 in 2023.
845. No, 861 right here, residents. 861. That's what I went by Wikipedia. My source is not random, like whatever you're looking
And
at.
then what's the other one? Essex County?
You have to look up Lehigh Valley in Wikipedia and Essex County on Wikipedia.
Okay.
The Department of Census is pretty thorough.
Okay,
Well,
let's see.
once every 10 years, people who don't know how to cooperate.
Lehigh
and
Valley.
my mom was always afraid of the census person, and she like invited them in to have coffee, thinking that they were like an agent
No,
of the IRS.
Wikipedia. Oh, here it was.
It's got it.
Mm,
It's got it. Go. You have to expand that little gray box.
okay, let's see.
I'm not sliding into anyone's DMs right now, Jamie. And I gotta expand, and then it says population. Jamie, this is so ridiculous. We're wasting very valuable. First off, what are you, blind? Why is this so close?
Are you turning into your parents?
Jesus, Jamie. 67th largest metropolitan area with a population of 873,555. How do you miss that? It's like font size 45. All right, so
And what's the other one? Essex County?
Essex County. I don't know what you're trying to disprove. I think that's a good example.
No, I'm not trying to disprove you. I'm trying to. I feel like one was. What was the other one?
Essex County.
This one is 850,000. You're right. I
Thanks.
thought there was like a bigger
Thanks,
disparity
Jamie,
between the two.
My assistant, and you know, you thought there was a big disparity.
I thought there was
You
a
think
bigger
me
disparity in the
making
Lehigh Valley
2,000 videos
it feels.
and claiming to
it
be number one
seems- it
applied
just seems
mathematician
like-
is fucking blah.
Shut up. It just seems like Essex County would have much more.
Anyways, numbers don't lie, and I think that's a overused phrase that's underapplied. People talk about it all the time, and nobody does anything about it. But I did. You see, these numbers are really important. And the quantity of videos that I had to film are a direct result of ab initio and law enforcement not doing their jobs.
Yeah.
Because they have been so comfortable receiving a salary and utilizing the powers that they have in order to leverage the lack of law enforcement or over law enforcement as evident in the public eye through the media. But nobody really talks about when police don't do their jobs. Because it's like the bomb that didn't go off.
In what way?
Well, there are countless crimes that are not investigated and are
Yeah,
relegated
that
to
makes
the
sense.
civil division, which then absorbs the claims and is eaten away by people with money who are simply able to circumvent the law. That's it. That's all this is about.
100%. I agree with that.
I am a victim of crimes, but because human beings that I'm a victim of have a lot more money than me, they were able to buy law enforcement's attention. That's it.
Absolutely.
That's all this is. That's really what this entire frustration is about, and I really thought that my family and friends would support me in this. As a matter of fact, it's been the complete opposite, and I've been blamed for being a whistleblower and shamed for being a victim. And yeah, does that make any sense?
Yeah, that
Yeah,
makes
I
total
mean,
sense.
You know, one can easily say, wow, I can't believe he said that on YouTube. Well, does anybody have any clue of why I said it and what actually transpired before I opened my mouth? And I don't think they do, because people live in a world of denial. They live in a world where they can hurt
Well, I don't
children.
think, people don't expect it to happen on such a big.
Right, well, I tried to
I feel like
warn
it
everyone.
happens a lot more on like a much smaller level and
Oh, no,
gets pushed under the
I
rug.
have said that I am the largest victim
Yeah.
of the completely oblivious Biden administration, which dropped the ball on the majority of small business owners that have been victims of crime since it really was uncool.
Oh, I agree.
to,
But I mean, I think the whole law, it's like a whole
Well,
racket.
this is a system that is owned by the human
They
beings.
make
who have
money
legal
on
degrees.
people, well, everyone,
People
the law
believe in
makes
New
money on
Jersey-
people's misery.
People in New Jersey actually believe that the courts are neutral, and they're not. They're
No.
controlled by several law firms
Of course.
that I've identified and will have the principals arrested. And I've said this, I said, listen, I'm gonna have to put, if I have to put everybody in prison that is corrupt, then I'll do that. I tried to make an example out of one businessman and one politician.
Yeah.
It doesn't look like it worked. It doesn't look like it worked. So on that note, I hope that everyone packs a toothbrush. And if you don't know what that means, well, you're about to find out. My name is Dan Risis, and I think that the best thing to do is to wrap this up on a positive note.
Okay.
If you
let's
are
do
not one of these 7 judges, you have nothing to worry about.
it.
But if you are one of these 7 judges, I highly recommend you very cordially resign, because what I'm about to release will completely destroy the people that appointed you and the cases that you worked on. So it is in everyone's best interest for you to resign immediately
Yeah.
before the video that is about to go up. Does that make any sense?
It does.
That's pretty nice, right?
Yeah.
You know, there's no threats, there's none of that stuff. I simply am stating that it is not in the best interest of neither law enforcement nor humanity for me to out the actual judges. I've already done it with Judge Salas. I asked for a very peaceful resignation. I don't want to go through the impeachment process, which will cost hundreds of millions of dollars for the taxpayers, which will be saddled with the burden of redoing the cases that are simply a direct result of malfeasance and fraud. Hey, you gotta hit that button. We're wrapped up.